Let us cover the medial view of the brain in just 1 minute. This one is the occipital pole. Above this is the lingual gyrus. This is the calcarine sulcus. This is the cuneus. This is the parieto-occipital sulcus. This one is the precuneus. This is actually the extension of the superior parietal lobule. All of this sulcus is called as the marginal sulcus. In between this area is called as the paracentral lobule. Whole of this is called as the medial frontal gyrus. And this is the pons. This is the cerebellum, and this whole of this is corpus callosum. This is the if it discuss its parts, so this is the rostrum, this is the genu, this is the trunk or body, and this is the splenium. Above this area there is a callosal sulcus or the sulcus for the corpus callosum. This is the cingulate gyrus, and this is the cingulate gyrus, and this is the cingulate sulcus. This is the hypothalamus and third ventricle area, and this is the interthalamic adhesion. This is the hypothalamus. This is the thalamus and third ventricle. This is the thalamus, and third ventricle is also present over here. And this is the interthalamic adhesion. This is the hypothalamic sulcus, and this sulcus here, the choroid plexus for the third ventricle is present. This is the stia medullaris of the thalamus, and this is the septum pellucidum, and this one is the fornix. Let us cover the lateral view of the skull in just 1 minute. So first of all, this is the medial longitudinal fissure which is dividing the cerebral cortex into the right and left cerebral hemisphere. So this one is the central sulcus. It is also called the central sulcus of Rolando. In front of it there is a frontal lobe, okay, and this sulcus is called as precentral sulcus. This gyrus is called as precentral gyrus. This is the superior frontal sulcus. This is the inferior frontal sulcus. This is the which is dividing the frontal lobe into the three parts. This is the superior frontal gyrus. This is the middle frontal gyrus. This is the inferior frontal gyrus. So in inferior frontal gyrus there is actually a Broca's area, and this is the pars triangularis. This is the pars opercularis, and this is the pars orbitalis. So this one was the central sulcus. Behind this there is a parietal lobe. This is the post central sulcus, while this is the post central gyrus. Parietal lobe is divided into the superior parietal lobule and inferior parietal lobule by this sulcus, which is called as the intraparietal sulcus. This one is the temporal lobe, which is present just below the lateral sulcus or the which is also called the Sylvian fissure. So temporal lobe has two sulcus. This one is the superior temporal sulcus. This one is the inferior temporal sulcus. This is the superior temporal gyrus, middle temporal gyrus, and this one is the inferior temporal gyrus. This one is the parieto-occipital sulcus, which is separating the parietal lobe from the occipital lobe from the parietal lobe. This one is the occipital lobe, and this one is the parietal lobe. So the parieto-occipital sulcus, and this sulcus is called as calcarine sulcus. This sulcus is called as the transverse sulcus, while this sulcus is called as the lunate sulcus. Let's cover the brainstem in just 1 minute. So this one is the medulla oblongata. This is the pons, and this is the midbrain. In the medulla oblongata there is anteriorly one fissure present, which is called as the anterior median fissure. And lateral to it there are the pyramids, and more lateral to this there are the olives. This one is the pons, and this is the pontomedullary junction. In the pons, there is a one groove which is called as the basilar groove, where the basilar artery run, and these are the fibers which are called as the transverse pontine fibers, and this is the middle cerebellar peduncle, and this is the midbrain. Now if we see the posterior view, we have the in the medulla oblongata there is a sulcus in the posterior view, which is called a posterior median sulcus. Lateral to it there is a gracile tubercle, and more lateral to this there is a cuneate tubercle. Okay, now in the pons there is a medulla oblongata and pons there is a fourth ventricle. These are the stria medullaris. Above that the floor of the fourth ventricle is formed by the pons, and below it the floor of the fourth ventricle is formed by the medulla oblongata. So this is the actually the median sulcus, and this is the medial eminence, and this is lower part of the medial eminence is the facial colliculus. This is the lateral sulcus, and this is the vestibular area. Uppermost part of the lateral the sulcus limitans. The uppermost part of the sulcus limitan and the median sulcus contain the substantia ferrugina. So there are the two triangles. This is the hypoglossal triangle, and this is the vagal triangle. In between the vagal triangle on here there is a area postrema is present. This one is the superior colliculus, and this one is the inferior colliculus. Now let us discuss the nuclei of the different nerve nuclei. So in the medulla oblongata, this is actually the nuclei of the 12th nerve, which is the hypoglossal nerve. This is of the 9th nerve, glossopharyngeal nerve. This is of the 10th vagus nerve, and this is the accessory nerve nucleus. And in the pons, this is the trigeminal nuclei, and this one is actually the nuclei of the abducent nerve. This is of the facial nerve, and this is of the vestibulocochlear nerve. If we move to the midbrain, we will see here that If we move to the midbrain, this nerve nuclei, this nuclei is called this nuclei. This nuclei is of the third nerve, which is the oculomotor nerve. And in the posterior view of the midbrain, you can see that there is other nerve nuclei, which is the fourth nerve. Fourth nerve with that we call it as the trochlear nerve. So this is the nuclei of the trochlear nerve.